Okay, so I had, during the break, I spoke with Dafinka, and so the question was, how do we deal with emotionally charged situations? So what happens, we go to an assignment and obviously someone is distraught, there's an emotional story, and we are about to burst into tears, and we are affected by it. Obviously we don't want to appear that we are partial, that we are taking sides, but it's a human reaction. So I deal with this all the time. I've dealt with it before. There are a few things there. If someone is crying, and so when I was working with this girl, and she was telling her story, somehow I really connected with the story. And she started crying, and I felt that I was about to cry. I felt it in my throat. So I took my very good friend the bottle of water, hopefully not plastic, because we need to be aware of the environment. But I took my bottle of water and just made that very short transition of me drinking a few sips of water to compose myself. So that I always carry that, and it gives me that second of composing myself. And if you can feel that you know yourself, if you have passed that moment, then you're good to go. If you really cannot compose yourself and you feel that you're about to cry, or you started crying, you cannot stop yourself, you're just gonna ask for a break, and that's very normal. You can say, the interpreter needs a few minutes, please. And you leave, you compose yourself, you come back. That's another scenario. I think, however, we're humans, but some people are better than others. I remember I was teaching a domestic violence class, and we have this recording, a real 911 call from a 7-year-old girl that was witnessing domestic violence abuse, and she was hiding her baby brother, and the father was drunk, and everything was going on that call, and you can hear it. I've heard that tape so many times. I cry every time. I just cannot do it. I cry every time. Some of my students, you can see some of them going and crying, because that's part of the session. We need to face certain situations and see how we react. Some students, they just go and interpret. They're just ta 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 ta, and they interpret. So we're all different. You also need to know what kind of situations tick you. What is a particularly sensitive topic for you? So let's say if you had your best friend dying from cancer 2 weeks ago, and they call you to interpret in the cancer clinic, you're probably very sensitive right now at that particular moment, and you might be affected by the interpreting. So you really need to know yourself. If you have kids and you have issues with, you know yourself. You really, it kind of comes down to you know yourself. If I'm called for sexual assault of children, most likely I would refuse. I don't know, but most likely I would have issues. So I need to face my own fears and my own issues. So this is sort of like preventing yourself to getting there. If you cannot prevent the situation, if you're crying, then yes, definitely try to stop yourself by drinking something, or making a note, or